Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for yet another episode of CMPAC Spotlight. And on this episode, we're going to talk to a producer who wears many hats. So we're going to talk with Doc Honeycutt of Beautiez and Bikerz. Doc, welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Dawn. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. And you know, I talked about you wearing many hats, and here you brought all these helmets, your biker helmets.
That's right. They're going to signify like all the hats that I wear.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it. We know we're talking about your show, Beautiez and Bikerz.
Yes.
Highlighting female, ladies, women, bikers out there.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about your writing and the show.
So let me say thank you for having me. I am
welcome.
so honored to be sharing a platform with you this afternoon.
Oh.
And yes, Beautiez and Bikerz is about, it's more for women empowerment, you know, because when I first started riding motorcycles, it was a man's game. So I want to get the word out that it's not a man's game. You know,
Right.
like we can do it. Women are doing it. We're not riding on the back anymore. We're riding on the front. But
Right.
it's levels to being a motorcycle rider, especially if you're going to be in a bike club. And people don't understand that. I'm not in a bike club, but I did have a bike club at one time.
Okay.
But I folded it. But, you know, it can be a little tricky if you just get out there, think you're going to ride and start a club. There's levels to it. And you have to know the levels, just like being in any business, like you have to know the business before you can open a business up. So, you know, it's politics as well.
Okay, well, you know, that makes sense. You know, anything that you are starting out in, you have to learn the ropes yourself and then take it to the next level, step by step, sometimes by leaps.
Right.
But, you know, just staying on this level in terms of when you got started. When did you start riding a motorbike?
I started riding a motorcycle in 1998, and I started out going to Bike Week with my mom.
Oh, okay.
She was like the first Beautiez and Bikerz, the first rude gal rider, and you know, we just liked that, you know, that attraction. She rode on the back though. And, you know, she would always say, now, if I was your age, you know, I'd get out there with y'all. I have my bike too. So we would go to Bike Week with her, you know, have an amazing time. But then we started going on our own once we got a little bit older. And so one particular year, 1998, my sister and I were coming home from Bike Week because we had watched accidents, guys with women on the back of their bikes doing wheelies. And I see limbs, all, you know, from one end of the street to the other. Yes, it was not a pretty sight. So we were like, you know, when we get back to Charlotte, we're going to get our own bikes. And she was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's get our own bikes. So we got up early that Monday morning and we went to one of the dealerships to go get us some bikes. We wanted to go buy bikes and just leave. And so the guy, he was like, well, have you taken the safety course? And I was like, no, we just want to buy bikes. You know, we grew up with bikes. And he was like, well, I'll tell you what, go take the safety course. And once you take the safety course, I'll sell you some bikes. So, you know, we was like, well, maybe we should take the safety course anyway. And I'm so glad we did because we think safety, and you know, instead of like just riding. Well, we ride too, but you're going to think safety first.
Sure.
So took the course, but we didn't go buy the bikes from him. We went, but we did go buy some bikes. And I'm still riding to this day. My sister's not riding now for, you know, reasons of her own. But, you know, I'm still riding my bikes. And I decided to turn it into a showcase it.
Absolutely. And we, you know, this is wonderful that you are showcasing women bikers. And you brought up how women used to be on the back a lot of times. I have an experience with that. My cousin, first, of course, it was moped. And then my cousin had a big bike and he turned and wanted me to lean in with him, Doc. And I about hit the pavement. And I was like, Mark, you got the, He was like, come on, dog, you lean into. I'm like, never again.
You was leaning away, probably.
I was leaning away. And I know that's a danger. I know that now, but that's your instinct. Because when your face is right there at the pavement, closer than ever, and you're moving, that's scary.
Well, first of all, he probably shouldn't have been riding with you like, you know, that low to the ground, because evidently y'all were going into a curve.
Right.
And he was knee dropping. But, you know, those are things that you do when you're riding by yourself. Yes, because you didn't know how to ride.
No.
You know, you have to mold yourself to that bike like you're a part of that bike.
Right.
So.
Well, like you said, he probably should not have been riding like that with someone on the back. And I instinctively knew that. So, but let's talk about the show. How did you come to start doing a show right here on Public Access?
So I started doing the show here. I had an opportunity. I met a gentleman. He's passed away now, Mr. Charles.
Okay.
And we talked, and he was like, you know, you want a show? I was like, I want my own show. He was like, you want a show? And I was like, I said, yes, I would like to have a TV show. I did everything else, done radio, I'm an author, you know, just everything, entertainment. I've done it. And I'm like, by me being a doctor as well, that would give me the platform to, you know, talk about a lot of community things too. So he was like, yeah, I can connect you with the people you need to. And, you know, once I connect you, you'll get you a TV show.
Wow, okay.
So he did, and I did, and here I am. But I didn't have Beauties and Bikerz when I first started out. My show was called Life from Studio DOC, and we talked about a lot of community things,
right,
you know, so just tried to change the game up a little bit, you know, like I said, you know, kind of educate people about the bike world and women riders. We're professionals, we're moms, you know, we love to ride, but we want to come home too, you know what I'm saying, because we have families. Right. Yeah, and you know, bike riding can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
As well, so.
Well, you said that you saw limbs over here and then over here, so that's real dangerous. And being a doctor, that's another hat that you wear.
That's another hat.
And I saw one of your shows where you talked about the trauma that can come from being a biker or anything. You work in the trauma unit, right?
Yes, I have worked in the trauma unit, and I see a lot of dangerous, you know, things. I see a lot in the trauma unit. ATV handlebars hanging out of stomachs.
Oh my goodness.
Just, I mean, anything you know that you can name. I've seen it. So, but yeah, but that still don't stop me from getting on a motorcycle.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I would think that might be an asset to you riding a bike, because you are thinking more about safety and thinking more about the fact that from the beginning of when you decided to become a biker and you saw all the trauma on the road, you like, I'm going to take charge and I'm going to put my medical hat on underneath this biker helmet
Dawn,
and be safe.
You know, the first 5 minutes when you get on your motorcycle, you just kind of like turn into something, okay?
Is that right?
That's right. So, you know, I got that need for speed. Like the first 5 minutes, I am on it, and I'll break it down. But that first 5 minutes, that's for me.
I got you. So you're safe, but you get on it and you're just like, I'm gone. I'm just going to get free of whatever.
Yeah, but I don't ride it out, though. And I am conscious, and I make it like, you know, I always try to make sure everybody hear me. You know, if I feel like they don't hear me, I'm making noise to make sure that they see me, like I am here. I'm coming, you know, I'm coming out. Or, you know, just try to be mindful of my surroundings. I never get on my motorcycle when I'm having a bad day, because I need for my mind to be 100% clear. Right. And when you're doing something on emotion, your mind is not clear. You know, so I try to make sure I have a clear mind.
You know, I heard one of your guests say that. I think she was saying, though, that she got on her bike after something emotional had happened, and she talked to a friend who told her, get off the road, get off the road. And I think some people probably think that maybe riding a bike is therapeutic, but you're basically saying, no, don't get on the bike and your mind is not clear.
For me.
For you.
Some people do use it for therapeutic reasons. Okay. But yes, for myself, if I don't have a clear mind, I will not get on my motorcycle. Okay. Because, you know, you have all kind of obstacles, you know, just different things that can come your way. And like I say, you want to be able to think fast, you know, if something does happen. And that's, thank God for the safety course too, because it teaches you how to go in, get out of kind of situations that, like if somebody pull out in front of you, it teaches you how to swerve. And I had to use it.
Yeah.
The first week that I got out of class and got on my motorcycle, I had a truck that pulled right out in front of me.
Oh my.
On West Boulevard. And I had to swerve.
Oh my.
So I used it.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad that I took it, because I wouldn't have known how to get out of that otherwise.
I am glad you took it too, because it's just important to not think, oh, I can just go buy a bike and do whatever I want to do because I'm smaller than these vehicles and I can cut through.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to cut through or get out of the way.
Yeah, you got to respect that bike at all times. I don't care how long. I've been riding for 20 years and I still respect my bike. And a lot of people don't do that, and it gets away from them.
I see.
But they're very, they can be very dangerous. They can be very fun. They attract attention, but you have to definitely think about safety all the time.
All right. Well, you talked about how, of course, you came to Access and got your show on, your passion, what you do behind. You didn't think, I'm going to do a show about biking and then go get a bike or just interview people who do biking. You had that first, brought the show to Access. Now you have just evolved. There's a reality show, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We have evolved, and when I said everything evolved from a 2-minute trailer. It went from a 2-minute trailer to 15 networks.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah. And, it's just about our lives as bikers, again, and professional ladies, and, us being on the open road. And, we're invited to some amazing places, concerts, like just all kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm trusting the process, you know what I'm saying? Because
the process.
It's things, I'm experiencing things that a lot of people only dream about.
Right.
And I'm actually living in that moment.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
No, I move around. I'm traveling. Like, we get invited to a lot of different places.
Well, no, what I meant was, it birthed from right here.
Yeah.
Because I know you're all over the place.
Yeah.
And people all over the place can actually see Access 21 and see your show.
Right.
And then see you on YouTube. And so I love hearing that you are traveling all over the place.
Oh, yes.
And able to speak, right?
Speak, yeah. Because I just believe that God gave me this platform for a reason. And, I am a mental health advocate. So every chance I get to advocate mental health and mental illness, I do so. Just like now, I'm getting ready to take this moment to say mental illness is real.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to talk about it because of the stigma that has been attached to it.
Right.
I'm here to say that there is hope and there is help. Check on your people, Dawn.
Yes.
We got to reach out to them. We see when people look different. We see when their conversations have changed.
Right.
Let them know that, I'm here for you.
That is so awesome that you would say that, because, even before this pandemic, there were a lot of things that people were dealing with. And a lot of times they were dealing with it by themselves and felt like they were alone. And I know I've had times where there's been things where my mind is just like all over the place, and it's like it can paralyze you. And so I am sure that there are different levels or different intensities of mental health. So can you give us some different tips about what to look for? You said when people look different, but what else?
They stop coming around. You stop hearing from them. They don't call you, or their conversation, always talking down or talking like they want to do something to themselves. You want to pay attention to those things. Yeah, they're always like in a unhappy state.
Right, right. And so great. Not only people who are experiencing mental health and depression, but those who are around can get the number, and we'll put it up here on the screen as well. Get that number and talk to somebody.
Definitely.
And then maybe they can coach you how to talk to that person. And
it is important for the family members or whoever's around that person. They need to have counseling too.
Right.
Because they need to be able to recognize the triggers. And when the triggers come out, they have to have a toolbox. Even a person that suffers from mental illness, they have to know their triggers. And they have to keep that toolbox beside them and have enough strength when they feel those triggers coming on, go into that toolbox and get whatever's going to help them to, get everything under control.
Right.
Yeah. But that comes with time. You know what I'm saying? With the counseling and all that stuff, like with growth.
With growth. Well, that is awesome to say that. And then, of course, bringing it full circle with the show. And when you talk about on the show how you talk about your lives, is mental health something that comes up on the show?
We try to make sure that it does all the time because, people are embarrassed.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed to start the conversation, but have you noticed, like even with us now, we haven't moved on. Once we open the can, it's like, you just can't get off that subject.
Right.
So because people are looking for somebody to start the conversation.
That's right, and because it's important. And this show is not nearly as long as what we need to have to talk about mental health, but like you said, to really stay in there and hone in, because somebody needs to hear it.
Yes.
Somebody needs to hear it. And then, of course, watching your show, it's fun, fun seeing the excitement and the activity, and can bring joy and inspiration to people.
Yeah.
And so talk to us a little, let's talk about the other hats that you wear. You are a mom.
I am a mom. I'm a mom of 4. I have 2 children that are, pretty much grown, but then I have 2 little ones as well.
Little ones.
Yes. I do artist development. Like, I travel from here to Atlanta, trying to get artists to where they need to be to have a successful career.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm an author. I have 7 books that I've written.
7?
7.
Wow.
Everything, motivating. Just trying to motivate the community again.
Right.
Yeah, I do so much. And, I don't even know how I do everything. Like, how do I fit everything in? But, I seem to keep everything balanced. And
yeah. Well, do you want your children to get into biking, or are they into biking?
If anybody get into it, it would be my son. He loves everything fast, but
Really?
he's one of them that he don't need to be on a motorcycle because even now, like I bought him a little motorcycle, and the first thing he try to do in everything, even if it's like being on a swing, he try to see how he can get a stunt out of it.
Really?
Yes. He is gonna find a way to get a stunt out of something. So he need to wait till he get a little bit more mature.
How old is he?
He is 11 now.
He's 11 now. Oh wow, he's young.
Yeah.
But you know what though, Doc? His interest or his energy may kind of slow up a little bit as he goes, and kind of maybe he can put it into something else.
Yeah.
Kind of pour it into something else.
But he is it's in him though. It's in him on both sides. So yeah, he is gonna run and ride a motorcycle.
Well, okay. Well, at least you'll be right there to help him kind of like go to the different levels.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. But he got to take the class. Like everybody, take the class. If you want to learn how to ride, take the class. It's cheap. And it makes sense.
The safety course.
The safety course, yes.
Okay. Well, what were some of the things you learned in the safety course?
Well, you learn, like the rules of the road.
And you talked about getting out of the way.
Yeah, you learn how to get on and off the bike properly.
Okay.
You learn how to lean. You learn how to, go in and out of cones. Just a lot of things. It was a whole weekend. And the first night was book work. Like, just learning about motorcycles. But the next 2 days was you were on those bikes all day. Like you literally got on the bike and started riding it.
Okay,
so
hands
teach
on.
You how to push the throttle, and it was just a good class. But I'm sure it's changed. We're talking 20 years ago now.
Right. Well, there's a lot of things, that you need to learn that have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you really don't learn. They teach you the basics.
Okay.
But until you get out there on that street and, actually ride yourself, that's when you learn how to ride. And my sister and I, we were like, okay, so we got our bikes. We're not going to get on the highway we're not going to get on the highway. We're just going to ride through the neighborhood and in the parking lots. That lasted a day.
Really?
Yeah, it was like,
it wasn't enough for
we're
you.
going to get on the highway. Yeah.
Oh my, so how long of stretch of highway did you do when you first got on there?
Probably
did you just
went
one
from
exit to
probably,
next?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. But now, I tear the road up. And the highway is like pretty much the safest place. You know what I'm saying? Because
I guess you don't have to start and stop.
No, but it's just like I clench my teeth when I do see bikers and they're going in and out of traffic and through the traffic. Like, I'm like, ugh.
Well, you know what? That annoys me too, because to me, that's communicating that, I can do what I want to do because I am just, streamlined and I'm not as wide as a car.
Yeah.
And to me, it kind of exudes a little bit of arrogance.
Yeah.
Because of that. And it's dangerous. It's just dangerous.
Yeah.
But I know you don't do that. So
I
that's
don't
good.
do that.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I want to come home
Right.
every night. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm really, really mindful of my my actions on my motorcycle.
Right.
And you get older too, and you start thinking a lot different as well.
Sure.
But I've always
Sure.
been pretty responsible on my motorcycle.
Well, I would think that. And on your show, I did hear you and your guest talking about like big groups, riding in big groups versus a smaller group.
Right.
And you were saying you don't like big groups, ride in big groups.
I don't ride in big groups.
Right.
I've rode in a couple, like Toys for Tots. It was things that were meaningful, but you don't know how the person ride beside you. You don't know if somebody behind you or in front of you is used to riding in these big groups, or you know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
just don't know. So I would rather ride in the back or in a car near, in case somebody needed me for emergency reasons. You know what I'm saying? I would rather support like that more so than riding in a group itself.
I see.
Because 911 would be right there. Like I would be right there. I could help right then.
That's true, yeah.
You have to wait for somebody to come on location.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody like myself,
Right.
Around.
Well, that makes sense. And, if you can set it up like that, if you are doing a charitable event, then that's the best way to do it. Just be in the back. I
Right.
can see that.
Yep.
Yeah. And different events, maybe Bikers, conventions, that they would have these big groups.
Yeah, they like I've saved lives everywhere, but I've had a few incidents where like I've ran up on motorcycle accidents, and I'll stop and I'll ask the police, like, you need for me to help, I'm a doctor, and they'd be like, oh God, like it's a sigh of relief,
Right.
because they have to wait for emergency to get there,
Right.
and then it's no telling how long it's going to take them to get through traffic and all that stuff. But yeah,
That's true.
So yeah, I've saved, and even at motorcycle parties, you go in to party and you turn it into you have to turn into a doctor.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that because it's great, because it sounds like you are put in the right place at the right time, even when you are just trying to have fun, when you're just trying to do something that may have been planned, and then you happen upon something that's not planned, and boom, those skills come into action. You
But
go
I
into
don't,
action.
I never give my name or anything though. I just leave because, they could, if something goes wrong, they could fault you. They could fault me.
I see.
So I
That
always
thought
say,
process.
I'm working on the Samaritan Act. I'm just trying to help where I can, and I make sure they're okay until medic get there, and I'll leave pretty much.
That's some good information right there. People need to understand that, because I have tried to help people, not on a motorbike, but if I've come across an accident and I'm right there and I offer to stay with the person or offer water. I remember a medic said, no, don't do that, because he didn't go into detail about why that was not a good idea, but I understand it now. If that person got choked, or if that person was inebriated, drunk,
Right.
then, they might try to project that on me. But I still think that it's great, though, that you say, under the Samaritan's Act, you stop and help. And then, of course, with you being a skilled biker, you're able to just be there. I mean, do that and be there.
Right, right. And now I'll make a joke. Like if I'm hosting, I'll be like, yeah, you know, I'm a doctor, but don't nobody get sick today. You know, we're not going to do this right now.
Right. So when you say hosting, you mean hosting a party or hosting
shows.
different
Yeah,
shows? Gotcha.
Yeah, I host all the time, you know, different events, artist showcases, just, you know, just wherever somebody booked me to host. I host, but I'll be like, y'all don't get sick now. I ain't working right now.
Right. Don't turn into the doctor.
But it don't happen all the time. It's sometimes where, you know, they have to call me.
Right.
You know. So.
Right. Well, that's understandable. But, you know, before we have to go and close the show, let's talk about the Beautiez part. The Beautiez part, because y'all are fashionable. I see you.
Yes,
I see you, Doc.
Yes. So I have, well, you know, our cast at first started out with like 10 ladies.
Okay.
So I had like 5 models and 5 bikers. But, you know, life happens.
Sure.
So now I have Mika the model, which is a biker as well, which has been on my ride since my ride started, pretty much. And I have Honeybee, and Honeybee is from Australia.
Okay.
And she has traveled 33 states so far on her motorcycle.
Wow.
She's a long distance rider, and I think she's going to try to take the other ones next year. But yeah, we have to make a statement that we're beautiful women, and we ride, and we are professional. We, you know what I'm saying, we got our own businesses. We holding it down. And ladies, you can too.
Exactly. Well, that's lovely. And like I said, the different hats, the producer hat, the biker hat, the mom hat, and then you're going to have to add some more because, you know, helping artists and hosting shows.
It's
you know,
lot. It's just
doing
a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think people think that I be like blowing my stuff up for social media, and I'm like, I'm really living this life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to do that. Like, it's really happening.
Right. Well, Doc, you know what? The next thing, if you haven't already, you're going to have to do is talk about the balance between like the health, getting some sleep, getting some rest, and going on these different trips, and how it's important to do that balance, have that balance.
And it's very important for me too. I sleep. If I don't get anything else, I make sure I get sleep. I eat properly. I give my body everything that it needs to run on a proper basis daily.
That's good.
I don't take that for granted because, if I didn't, I would crash and burn. Like, I would literally crash. So I make sure I get an adequate amount of sleep. And like I said, stay hydrated and watch my diet carefully.
All right.
And I work out. Like, I work out every day.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Very inspiring. Well, I tell you, I could talk to you on and on, as you know.
Yes.
But we got to close out. And so before we go, why don't you tell the audience where they can see you on this channel?
You can see me on this channel on Spectrum, Access 21, right?
The times?
Oh, Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. every Thursday. Y'all check out Beautiez and Bikerz on set. You're going to be so glad that you did.
All right, Doc. And I'm so glad that you were able to come tonight.
Thank you.
So glad. And I'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All
Dawn.
right.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you guys for joining us. We know you had a good time listening and chatting, or me chatting with Doc. Tune into her show, and we will see you when you tune in to CMPAC Spotlight the next time. Have a good one.